Winter on a cold New England farm in December. It was there many of Abigail Adams' 1,160 letters were written. Christmas makes absence a bit more difficult, and Abigail was no stranger to her husband being away. In addition to dutifully writing her husband, Abigail also corresponded with many of the founding fathers, including 40 letters to Thomas Jefferson, and she dined with Ben Franklin. Still, nothing could replace her loneliness, her love for family, and her husband. While many of our founding fathers and their families are receiving closer scrutiny these days because of their relationships to slavery, only 2 of the first 12 presidents did not own slaves. Those were John Adams and his son Quincy. Abigail had a firm correspondence with both and tended to the home during many long years of absence. She did it so well that Thomas Jefferson asked her to watch one of his daughters for 6 months. In her many letters to John, Abigail's letters provided everything from familiar matters to presidential advice. Her letter to John on December 27, 1778, tells of an extraordinary woman with ordinary concerns. Here is her letter, performed by Pam DeHuff.
Sunday evening, December 27, 1778. How lonely are my days, how solitary my nights. Secluded from all society but my 2 little boys and my domestics, by the mountains of snow which surround me, I could almost fancy myself in Greenland. We've had 4 of the coldest days that I ever knew, and they were followed by the severest snowstorm that I ever remember. The wind, blowing like a hurricane for 15 or 20 hours, rendered itself impossible for man or beast to live abroad, and has blocked up the roads so that they are impassable. A week ago, I parted with my daughter at the request of our Plymouth friends to spend a month with them, so that I am solitary indeed. Can the best of friends recollect that for 14 years past, I have not spent a whole winter alone? Some part of the dismal season has heretofore been mitigated and softened by the social converse and participation of a friend of my youth. How insupportable the idea that 3,000 leagues and the vast ocean now divide us, but divide only our persons, for the heart of my friend is in the bosom of his partner. More than 60 years has so riveted it there, that the fabric which contains it must crumble into dust ere the particles can be separated. For in one fate, our hearts, our fortunes, and our beings blend. I cannot describe to you how much I was affected the other day with a Scotch song, which was sung to me by a young lady in order to divert a melancholy hour. But it had quite a different effect, and the native simplicity of it had all the power of a well-wrought tragedy. When I could conquer my sensibility, I begged the song, and Master Charles has learned it and consoles his mamma by singing it to her. I will enclose it to you. It has beauties in it to me which an indifferent person would not feel, perhaps. His very foot has music in it as he comes up the stairs. How oft my heart danced to the sound of that music there. And shall I see his face again? And shall I hear him speak? Gracious heaven, hear and answer my constant daily petition, by banishing all of my grief. I am sometimes quite discouraged from writing. So many vessels are taken that there is little chance of a letter reaching your hands. That I meet with so few returns is a circumstance that lies heavy at my heart. If this finds its way to you, it will go by the Alliance. By her I have written before. She has not yet sailed. And I love to amuse myself with my pen and pour out some of the tender sentiments of a heart overflowing with affection, not for the eye of a cruel enemy who no doubt would ridicule every humane and social sentiment long ago crowned callous to the finer sensibilities, but for the sympathetic heart that beats in unison with Portia's.
We hope you're enjoying our show. If you'd like to support BTC, go to www.brewstertheater.org.